Hey everybody, it's Linda with Ink Stamp and Scrap. Nice to be back. I'm gonna give everybody a minute or two to get in here. Taking my sweatshirt off because it's a little warm. I was racing as best I can to get on here on time. I know I was a minute or two late, but hopefully everybody will find me. There we go. People are starting to come in. Please say hello when you get here. I'm excited to share things with you. I'm gonna, I have my laptop in front of me. I'm just gonna bring us up here too so I can see what's going on. Thanks, Kathy. It's nice to be back. All right. Looks like there's a few more people coming in. Let me know that you're here. Say hi. I'm really excited to be here. It's gonna be a little bit clunky tonight. Hey, Sue, I'm gonna tell you exactly how I'm doing. Just give it a couple minutes. I meant to jump on it 5 till, and I'm just a little rusty getting all this together. So we're gonna make it work. All right, let me find the video on, hey Gloria, glad you're here. I'm just gonna find the video on my laptop so I can see comments. I'm sitting down tonight. This is gonna be a little different. I'm gonna stamp sitting. I'm getting better at it. I've been working on it for a week now. I am a standing stamper, but a girl's got to do what a girl's got to do. All right, there we go. I found it. Oops. There we go. So I can see where the lag is. I can see all your comments. This is wonderful. Okay. So yay, things are cooking along. Okay. Let's see, what time is it? It's 3 after. All right, I'll give it a couple more minutes. I am going to tell you for tonight and maybe going forward, I'm not sure, but just for tonight, I am going to, let me see, got you guys in. Yeah, I'm not going to do door prizes at the end. I am just going to post afterwards because I just want to get them all cut and ready to go, and then I will send them out. So please leave comments. I love seeing that you're glad to see me and glad that I'm back. But please leave comments and questions. And then starting next week, I have had 6 weeks to do nothing but heal and think. And so we are going to start trying a couple different things. And one of them is going to be a pinned comment at the top of this so that you can answer a question for me that's going to help me plan things better for you guys. And that will be what I draw from for prizes. So it's kind of a double, it's a thank you, and it's going to help me with content that I prepare for you guys. Okay, so as of today, I am 6 weeks post-surgery. I am not going to show you any pictures. So I told you it wasn't going to be an icky review of what happened. But if you haven't been following along my journey, I had a total knee replacement. It was necessary because I have had problems with my right knee since I was 14. That was when I had my first surgery. It was my first and only surgery on that knee. But it was pretty catastrophic moving forward over the next few decades. So it was definitely needed. As the doctor told me, I had the knee of an 80-year-old. So, and I'm definitely not even close to 80 at this point. So, my surgeon was wonderful. My experience at the surgery center was great. I was able to do this outpatient. So I was home, by mid-afternoon after a morning surgery, which was awesome. The physical therapist and the doctors are all telling me I'm recovering ahead of schedule. I'm just impatient and wish I was doing even better at this point. But as they pointed out to me today, the swelling is starting to return because I'm pushing myself a little too hard. So I do need to back off a little bit. 8 to 12 weeks is how long it takes for bones and everything to heal. And I need to give my body that grace to do that. So that doesn't mean I'm going to disappear again. This is a priority, and I will be here, and I will start blogging again next week and getting myself back on YouTube, and things will really start rolling over the next 2 weeks. But I got on the spin bike for 20 minutes this weekend because I thought it would be fun, and it was great, and I had no resistance. I was just flying on the pedals, and it felt really good, but I guess my knee didn't really like it that much. So I just need to relax on that stuff. We do live in Florida. I understand much of the Northeast refers to us as the Wild West or the Wild states or the wild child or whatever. But since we live down here, we are able to go to restaurants and meet up with friends and do things like that. And we do wear our masks when we walk in. We just wait till we sit at the table and then we take them off. But anyway, so we've been going out more the last 2 weeks because I'm finally able to, walk places and do things like that. But we have been sitting for longer periods of time and that gets a little uncomfortable. So I just need to listen to my body better and maybe not be quite as social and quite as active at the gym. So that's the lesson learned. I know this is an odd camera angle. You can actually see over my shoulder there. That's some of the lighting equipment that I use when I'm doing different things. And I keep playing with my hair because it's doing really funky things. I don't like looking at myself all the time on camera. So with that said, I am going to turn you guys around and we are going to get to stamping. I have 2 cards and a box to do for you tonight. Tomorrow, the replay of this will go up on the blog. God willing, Facebook will let me save this video and I won't need to re-record anything. And then there will also be a download for you to use to have pictures of the projects and all of the products that are used to make them. Don't think there was any, oh my goodness, I'm forgetting one of the most important things. My sincerest thank yous to all of you that sent me get well cards and messages of encouragement and reminded me to do my exercises and to ice often and all those wonderful tips. I can't believe how many of you have had knee replacements. It was very heartwarming to know that I'm certainly not alone in this endeavor. And I really, really appreciate it. Every time Bruce would come back from the mailbox and have a hand stamp card and I recognized the return label as one of you, I was it really made my day. So thank you very, very much. Okay, so without further ado, I'm going to turn you guys around. If you have a problem with the camera moving, close your eyes and I will let you know when it is set up above. So hang on just a moment. First, I'm going to spin you to where, there it is. Okay, so you're going to look at the supplies and then you're going to be looking down at my laptop. All right, there we go. Okay, I'm going to move that out of the way. Grabbing my headset because I just realized I didn't have them in. Hopefully the phone will pick them up and not the laptop. Yep, it did. Okay, so you guys should hear me better. There shouldn't be any echo. This is what I use to hold my phone. This is a really cool little device, by the way. I got it on Amazon quite a while ago, and I love it. It's super sturdy. I take it with me on trips. Even I have the extra large iPad, and it works for that too. So just a non-sponsored tip right there. All right, I need to take a drink. I have found during this recovery that I am extremely dehydrated, so I may sip more than once during this presentation. Okay, so let's see. Here we go. All right. Hi, Jenny. Nice to see you too. All right, so this is the stamp set that we're using tonight. This is the Pretty Perennials. If I didn't tell you during the reviews of the catalog, I will tell you that I just stopped when I saw this stamp set. I was so excited about it, and it was at the top of my list. It does come, I'm just using this to kind of angle it so it doesn't give you so much glare. It does come with dies and they're beautiful, but we're not going to use those tonight. We're just going to do stamps, ink, and paper. I decided to keep it pretty basic tonight. We are going to use one of the Love You Always treat boxes. I'm going to show you how you put that together and we're going to decorate it. Everything is going to be very simple stamping tonight, back to basics, hopefully some tips and tricks that you may have learned but have forgotten. And if you're new to the world of card making and rubber stamping, then these should be some good tips that you can file away and use with what you have. All right, so it's Pretty Perennials, but I've already loaded all the stamps up that I need. So the first thing that we're going to do is make this really cute box. This uses the Love You Always treat boxes. I should have looked. I know there were more than 8 in the package, so you get a lot of boxes. I like to just wrap designer series paper around. We're down to the last, what's today? 24th. So 4 days of celebration. It goes through Sunday. So if you are interested in getting this paper, it is free with a $50 purchase. It's a package of 12 by 12 paper, and it's made to coordinate with the Pretty Perennials stamp set and bundle. But these are the boxes, and so they slide out just like this. They come in two pieces. They come with the sleeve and then the box itself. I'm going to show you in just a moment how to put the box together, because I will say Stampin' Up! Really left you kind of on your own to figure that part out. So if you buy these, that is actually on my list of things to do this week is make up a tutorial on how to put these boxes together, because I had to Google it to figure it out. This is the snail bundle of twine, the blush blossom and whisper basic white, excuse me. It's going to take me a while to get used to that. But I will say I'm almost done with my whisper white, and I'm super excited to start using basic white because it is a more vibrant white. I really am excited for it. You can see the difference right here. I mean, I never thought whisper white was bad, but I got to tell you that basic white is just a hair brighter, and I really like it. And the envelopes are the same way, a hair brighter. So I do like that. This is the fancy tag topper punch, and then we're just using the happy birthday greeting from Pretty Perennials in this one. So let's get started with this one first, and then we'll move on to the cards. All right, so I have my little basket here. I'm hoping this is all going to work out perfect, and I'm not going to have to stand up between now and the end of this little workshop for us, our Wednesday workshop. All right, let me just double check. Basics is always good. I've been doing a lot of techniques. Yeah, Sue, I know. I like getting back to basics, and I've been doing a lot of techniques too. I am, for those of you that are registered in Technique a Week, and you are one of the original members, so you are up in the 50s of your issues, we will be all caught up by lunchtime tomorrow. I created the ones that I am behind on, as well as the next 2 weeks today, and they will be uploaded by noon tomorrow. And so thank you for being with me here for over a year now. That's how long we've had that program. And if you're interested in Technique a Week, you can find all the information on my website, inkstampandscrap.com. All right, so these are the Love You treat boxes. And what I do when I make them is first, I just fold everything so that it just makes life a little easier. Some things actually fold back, but I just fold everything in. I don't use my bone folder to make them really creased. I just kind of break the score line just so it's a little easier to deal with. All right, I'm going to try and do this. I'm going to move this a little bit around. It looks like it's a little off. I'm going to try and do this so you can see it. And usually, remember, I'm sitting down. I'm not usually sitting down when I make this. Okay, so you want to, oh, I'm going to pull this back. Sorry. Okay, this is more futzing than usual. It's just so you guys can see it, so I can kind of move stuff out of the way. So I start with the two sides, one at a time, but I'm going to try and hold them together so you can see this. And then you've got a slit here. The slit has to go in before the tag that's right there, or the tab that's right there. So I hold the little flaps, and this goes along the side and then flips to catch on the bottom. Oh, hang on. No. Okay, let's try that. It does do that, but first we have to do the sides. All right, trying again. So the first thing you do, that's why I was holding the sides, is you bring these in. And they go the same way that I just showed you. So it flips in and it secures the sides. The problem is this box doesn't stay together until you get this. So you actually have to get to the third side before it behaves. It's a wild child, we'll just say that. So then you hold these two and bring this one in. Okay, and now we're going to bring the tab in, and we can finally kind of see our box forming. So then I tuck these guys back, and then when you put this in, the whole thing just stays in place. So you have a short score and then the long, and this is actually going to lay on the bottom of the box to make it all neat and fancy. Whoever created this kudos, it works when you do it the right way. So you start with the sides, then you do what I refer to as the front where the slit is, and then the back where the tab is. There we go. All right. Thanks, Becky, for sharing it. I do continue to appreciate you guys sharing the videos. And I will definitely draw somebody for sharing the video. So if you can just click share and then comment that you shared the video, I really appreciate it. All right. Now we're going to do the tag topper punch because I want to see how long this is. It says in the instructions that you start with a slightly less than 2 wide piece of white cardstock. This is probably almost 6 inches. It doesn't really matter as long as it's longer than 4.5. I think I put in the tutorial 5. It just needs to be longer than 4.5. You're going to take about a 1/2 inch off when you punch with this guy, and then we're just going to trim off the bottom. So I'm just going to slide. The reason I say less than 2 inches, if you make this exactly 2, it just doesn't sit nice. If you just literally a hair, not even a 1/16 of an inch, I mean, less than that is fine. You just slide this in until it doesn't go any farther and then punch down it and you get that beautiful punch. And this is where you lose about 1/4 of an inch. So we're just going to take that and put it there. All right, so now we have our tag topper, but ultimately we want this to be 4 inches after the punching all gets done. So I'm going to bring in my trimmer and we're going to trim this down to 4 inches. So I'm going to take the top of the tab, well, the top of where the tag, the fancy tag is, and cut it down to 4 inches. And the reason, I just want to make sure I'm in the right place. Yes. The reason I want to do that is this box is 4 1/8 long. And so I want to make sure that the tag is going to fit on there. So we're just going to slide that over because it's a scrap too. All right. Kind of liking this sitting down. It's really not that bad. All right. Oh, thanks, Becky. Yeah, I tried something new. I tried the I guess it's the ombre of colors. Um, I like it. I think I'm going to try some different colors next time, but I do like I like the concept. I'm just not completely sold on the colors that I got on my first try. I like some of them, but not all of them. All right, I'm looking for, there we go. I'm looking for a Stampin' Mat. And I guess that's all I need right now. Oh, and I'm going to need a bone folder in a second, but let's do this. All right, so we are going to use Night of Navy and Blushing Bride because they go with the designer series paper that we have. So I am using, and I'm in Florida and these things fade in the sun. The ink is fine, but I'm just letting you know my labels are not the bright, pretty ones that I came down here with. There's Blushing Bride. That's what this is faded to. So my pink ink pads and really anything with a red base. So anything from pink all the way to orange seems to not get along so well with the sun. But this is the designer series paper, the celebration one. That you can get for free, and this is what we're wrapping around the box. So this is 4 by 10, and that wrap makes a perfect wrapper around these boxes. So first we're going to stamp the happy birthday. When I do the happy birthday and I don't cut any layers or anything, what I like to do is use the lighter color as the happy and then the darker color with the birthday kind of layered over a little. You're probably going to see my head because I want to make sure this is, yeah, it is high enough. Because I need to kind of make sure this is lined up and I'm not using my Stamparatus because it was just too much to bring in. So there we go. There's happy. And then we're going to do birthday with the Night of Navy. Move that over. I have plenty of room. I could layer over this, but I went a little high on that, so I'm going to just bring it down just to cover a little more geography on the tag. There we go. Happy birthday. Awesome. Does your paper fade also? No, my paper's been just fine. It's just the ink pads that seem to have had a problem. But my paper doesn't last all that long. I kind of cycle through it faster than you would imagine. So nobody has a really good time. And all the paper is kind of tucked away from the sun. It's just the location I had to put my ink pads, and it would be a change of the whole office to get them away. So I'm not really quite ready for that yet. Probably will at some point, but not yet. Okay, so to do the tassels, this is what I did. I took my fingers and I just kind of spread them out, and then I just kept putting it under my thumb. So there's one, the first one, then there's two, and I actually did 3 wraps around, and then grabbing my scissors, there we go, and then I just cut it off, and I kind of pulled this piece because this is the top. So now I'm kind of acting like this is just one piece of ribbon, if you will. There we go. Okay. So I'm going to shove this through to the front, back to front, all the little loops. Pretty sure this is how I did it. As I'm doing this, I'm kind of second guessing myself. And I also had a paper piercer to make this a lot easier. I might have to grab that. I wonder if I have one in my handy dandy drawer here. I do. Look at that. I'm all prepared. I have my take it up tool. Okay. So I'm going to start this through, and left-handed, I'm going to pull, aha, look at that. I'm going to pull them through. Okay, so now I have this whole loop here of all these beautiful colors, and I'm going to make sure I get all the loops. There we go. Apart. I'm going to take what was hanging out in the back that didn't go through the hole, put it through all the loops, and then when I pull, oh, it looks so pretty. Okay. All right. So I knew I had a note to myself, go back to front. And the reason is because I wanted to show you the difference. So here is going front to back. That's what this tag is like. So if I pushed the loops through from front to back, and this is putting the loops through from back to front. And you'll see like this one's just a little crazy, but it's definitely a pink one. So I'm just going to pull on these a little, and eventually one of them is going to settle. There it is. Okay. So now these are all settled, and it's definitely more than I need, but this way I can decide, and I'll cut this off once we put it on the box. All right, so let's get the box done. What we need is a bone folder to do that. And no, you are not going to score the paper to go around the box. I have a much easier plan than that. So we're going to put the box together simply so it's sturdy while we're wrapping the paper around. And we're going to put our Terran tape on one end. It doesn't really matter which, but that will become the end, just so I know that's where the adhesive is going to go. I like to use Terran tape. You could use liquid glue. You could use glue dots. You do have a few options, but I just like to use the Terran tape. All right. All right. Oh, I should have kept that out. I need it again. Come on. There we go. Oh, wait. Hang on. No, don't do that yet. All right. I did learn this. Okay, so this is the top of the box because it slides out like that, which makes this the bottom. So we are going to adhere this right there, and then I'm going to wrap this around. Remember, I know that 10 inches works. So I'm going to wrap this around. There we go. All right, so ultimately this is going to go on top like that, okay? So what I'm going to do is put this on. It's kind of a backwards way to assemble. I'm actually going to put the glue on the box after I put the belly band, if you will, but eventually this is not going to slip. And it is going to have really nice scored lines, but we're going to do it in a different way. So just hang on. You're along for the fun with me. I'm going to get this down so it's nice and straight. There we go. Okay, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to get the score lines onto our belly band so it just looks nicer. I mean, right now it looks kind of puffy and there's no nice lines to it. So we're going to pull the inside of the box out and we're going to fold this down. And then we're going to take our bone folder and we're going to go right along here and right along here. And it's going to crease the designer series paper exactly where it needs to be on the box. And then we're going to go the other way and we're going to get the other two creases. So see, we didn't have to measure and score and hope everything lined up. And now it just looks much better. It looks much more professional, but it does still slide around a bit. So what you can do is you can slide it off if you would like to. It's totally up to you. I could leave it alone at this point, but I'm going to show you what you could do, especially if you're going to mail this to somebody. Please notice that there is a seam right here. I want to make sure I'm holding that up to the camera. Yeah, there's a seam right here. So you want this to be down. You want the bottom to be here. And then again, this is the bottom with the designer series paper. So we're going to just slide this off. We're going to take some liquid glue. And there it is. Okay, we're going to take some liquid glue and we're going to put it not right to the edge, but just around so that this stays nice. And then because you measured this to be 10 inches and you put it around and it wasn't perfectly flat, you have a little bit of give. Wait, let me make sure I'm doing this. There we go. Yeah, okay. Guess it doesn't matter now because I put the glue on. But so I'm squeezing this with my left hand and I'm sliding with my right. You probably want to do that the opposite way if you're left-handed. But squeezing the designer series paper with my left hand leaves a little bit of a bow at the top so that it doesn't touch the glue until I'm ready for it to touch the glue. And then I can put it down and I can take my bone folder and just make sure that it's all set. And now it's not going to go anywhere. It's totally secure. You can slide your box back in and you can put some fun things in here. Just to show you what fits, let me get my little goodie box out. This is some Altoids, so you could easily, you can't stack these, but you could definitely fit 2 in. If you're a Tic Tac person, you could definitely send a few of those. Since Becky pointed out my nail polish, I'll grab my nail polish in here. You could send your daughter or your niece a few bottles of nail polish if you wanted to, or maybe like 2 if they were a little bit larger, 1 with the bottom here and 1 with the bottom that way. So quite a few things that you could fit in there. All right, so we're going to slide that closed. And now we're just going to take, you guessed it, some Stampin' Dimensionals and put the tag topper on. I have an almost new sheet of them here. 1, 2, 3 to start. 1, 2, 3. That's not on all the way. There we go. That looks better. I like to put lots so that it doesn't go flat. And the easiest way to take these off, not on the box, put down here, is to just poke in. Oop, I think that one's already off. And they all stack up on here, and then you can just put them in the trash. Oops. All right. So now we're going to put this on here. Happy birthday. It fits perfectly. We'll trim this off. And there you have it. Cute little box, all decorated and ready to go. So there's the first project, there's the sample I made, and this is the one we just put together. All right, check mark for us. Let's move on. Oh, the box is cute. I'm glad you like it. Thanks a lot. I appreciate that. All right. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, I was actually stamping with a neighbor a few days ago. She wanted to learn what this whole stamping thing was all about. And she actually really liked the Pretty Perennial stamp set, probably because we used it. And she asked me, what would she do for a guy card? And I told her how I would use this stamp set as a guy card. And it got me thinking, I wonder how many of you have really pretty floral sets and you never think about the fact that you could easily use them for guy cards. So that's what we're going to do next. So I'm just wiping these off. Yes, I will use my Simply Chamois later on, but right now, just wiping them off. So that's the card that we're going to do right now. We are going to take stamps from the Pretty Perennials and we're going to make a card for a guy because it's all just shapes. There's no flowers. It's all guy colors. It's very easy to make and they will love it. So this is what we're going to make next. We're going to take a card base that it is 11 by 4 1/4, scored at 5 1/2 and folded in half. And Kim, if you're watching, thanks for the idea. And then we're going to take a 5 1/2 by 4 1/4 layer. I'm going to stamp all over it and then cut it down. I find that works better when I'm doing kind of a one sheet wonder wallpaper look to my stamping where it's just all covering the entire surface of a layer. Now we are going to grab my grid paper because I am not going to stamp just on the cardstock. I'm definitely going to stamp off. And that's all we need, and I'm going to get started. So the first thing that we're going to do is stamp our, I call them the amoeba, in Seaside Spray to start filling it in. The amoeba is this guy, and he is neither super big nor super small, so it makes a good launching place to start covering the cardstock. So when I'm going for the no white space look, which is what I'm going for, I add a lot and then I keep adding more. Some people like to do this technique and leave white space, which is absolutely fine, but I just find it more interesting when you eliminate as much of the white space as possible. So it looks like what I'm gonna do next is the, okay, I'm gonna do, I don't think I'm necessarily gonna follow this morning's pattern. So I'm gonna use Misty Moonlight next, and I'm gonna use this little bunch of dots, and I'm gonna go and fill all around my amoebas. If anybody has a better name for the amoeba, let me know. It is definitely a flower center, and we will use it that way in the next card because we will make a traditional flower card with this stamp set. But right now, I just feel like amoeba is a good description of this. Plus, it keeps it more in the guy vein. Okay. I also was looking at the dies, and you could easily use those dies, some of the dies, to make a guy card too, if you were more into the dies. All right, so we're going to keep filling in our white space, but I'm not really overlapping anything. That's going to come in the next two steps. So hold tight, we're almost there. You want to make sure when you're doing this that your stamp, even though I know I'm going to cut some of this away, I'm not sure if I'm going to cut a 1/4 inch and a 1/4 inch, or I'm going to end up cutting a little bit off of all four sides. So I am just making sure I stamp off the edges and fill everything in. You can also see I'm getting quite a bit of ink, which means that I'm not being good about the way that I'm stamping into my pad, but because I'm holding this really level and I'm not rocking it when it comes down onto the cardstock, I'm not getting any excess ink on there. Of course, now that I've explained all that to you, I probably will, but we'll just go with it. All right, the last color that I need is Smoky Slate, and this is going to be the filler. So I am going to show you my technique for filling in, spreading the love, whatever you want to call it. So the stamp I'm going to use is this guy, and I'm holding it in this direction to start. And that's important to remember what direction you're holding it in to start if you want to use the Linda technique to cover your cardstock. So now I'm not going to care if I hit any of the images that I've already stamped. And I am thinking this is kind of, from practice, is a 7 for coverage. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Some off, some on, and no, it's not covered all the way yet. So I can do one of two things. I can turn my cardstock, or I can change the way I'm holding the stamp, but I have to do one or the other. And once I do one, I need to keep going in the same direction. This time I'm going to turn the cardstock. Same number. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And again. And what that does is it gives this a, wrapping paper look, continuous look, whatever you want to call it. Because the one that is taking the most white space away is going in all sorts of different directions. And I might have stamped 1 or 2 more or less than 7, but we are back around again. All right, so there's 4 sets of 7, I hope. Somebody can correct me if I missed. It's hard to talk and count. And see how nice and filled in it is. But I feel like it's not quite popping as much as I want. So this time, I'm going to go back to the amoeba stamp, but I'm going to do that in Pretty Peacock. I'm going to bring this green in just a little bit more. So what I'm going to do with this stamp is just wipe the ink away with my cloth so that I can switch colors. And it's not a huge switch to go from a blue or a light blue to a blue green. And I'm just going to kind of fill in where I feel like it needs a little more pop of color. I'm not putting these all over the place. I'm just putting them where the white kind of catches my eye. And remember, I don't care that they overlap anymore. I tried at the beginning to spread the images out and not get a lot of overlap, but now it's just not bothering me. It's a hot mess, but it looks really cool. Okay, one more right there. Oh, yeah, not where I wanted it to go. Right there. Okay, we're done. One thing you'll run into is you'll keep adding, and you really do need to at some point just say, okay, that's enough. So that is enough. I'm going to close these guys. Oh, wait, no, I'm not. I'm not going to close them up yet. We need to stamp our greeting. I am going to cut this greeting this piece of cardstock with the mini Stamp and Emboss machine just to show it to you, but I did pre-cut one of them so you didn't have to watch it multiple times. All right, since we did more of the Pretty Peacock, I'm going to do the birthday in that, and this time I'm going to do the Seaside Spray as the happy. Now, I had already done it in Blushing Bride, It didn't seem like there was any ink left when I just tried it. But I always like to do this when you're going from a red-based ink to a blue-based ink. You don't want to find out when you're stamping on the project that your stamp was not clean and you still have some pink left over. All right, this time, sorry if my head's in the frame, I am going to go pretty close to the center because this is a lighter blue. There we go. And then I'm going to do the birthday in Pretty Peacock, so it's much darker, and it will go right over, well, again, yes, it's fine. It'll go right over the Y and look really cool. Oh, there we go. All right, nice. Okay, so this is our greeting. So now I need to clear my workspace a little bit. I'm not going to need any of these colors for my next card. So I'm just going to set those away. Thanks, Sue. Yeah, it's a fun background to make. I mean, if you've been stamping for a while, it's a pretty basic technique, but there's just little things that you can remember, like spinning the cardstock around to make it fill. In the old days, when I started, you never would go and eliminate this much white space. You wanted some white space, but nowadays the no white space look is in. So we're just trying to keep up with the trends, ladies. All right, I'm going to move these two out of the way, but I'll bring them back for the next card. I'm going to bring in my trimmer because we need that layer to be the one that we stamped all over. We need that to get down to, oops, wrong way. We need that to get down to 4 by 5 1/4. So let's see, by 5 1/4, right now this is 5 1/2. If you look here, there's a fair amount of white space, but not here. So on this edge, I'm just going to cut this off by 1/4 inch. That's my deciding factor. So now a lot of this white space is gone. On this one, I don't really have that issue, and I don't really think it matters which side I cut off as much, because the colors are pretty well distributed too, although there's a lot of blue and gray here and not too much of the peacock. So I think I'm just going to do 1/4 inch here too and just make it easy. So there's the new size for my layer. So now it is 4 by 5 1/4, this one right here in my hand. And then I have my greeting, and I think you already guessed, we're just going to use dimensionals to put that on. And I already have a card base. Oh, right here. So this is 11 by 4 1/4. I'm just going to use my bone folder to make sure it stays really nice. You could definitely use another layer of cardstock underneath if you wanted to, just 1/8 of an inch border, but I just didn't feel like doing that tonight. So we're going to use liquid glue just in the interest of time. I could use Stampin' Seal, but I think it's too far behind me and I am not going to stand. You could even use dimensionals. I mean, it's perfectly fine to pop both layers up. They will go through the mail just fine. So we're just going to, the thing I love about liquid glue is I have a couple of seconds to move my layer around and get it right where I want it. And then I just kind of move the glue to the corners and to the edges just to make sure that they stay down and they're not popping up. And then again, adding the dimensionals, I'm just going to add quite a few because when your mail goes through the U.S. Postal Service scanner, it gets smashed. And it's a thin scanner, and that's why your mail can't be more than 1/4 inch thick. And when the foam dots go through, or the dimensionals, they get squished down. And if you have enough of them, they'll pop back up. But you only have 1 or 2, they might not. And then whoever gets your card is going to have a deflated happy birthday card, and we don't want that. Now remember, this is a guy card, so we're going to leave it just at this. One of the tips I always give people for guy cards: keep your colors in the blues and grays and masculines. You can certainly bring in crumb cake or Sahara sand. Any of the neutrals are fine. And then blues and greens, no bling, no extra ribbon. If you want any kind of quote unquote embellishment, that's when I would bring in texture. So the one thing that you could do to this to give it some dimension without detracting from it being a masculine card is to run this through an embossing folder now that it's all stamped. That would add some texture, which would give it some more volume, but it wouldn't change the idea that this is for a guy. So there is our guy card. Let me show you the one I already made. So this is the one you'll see in the tutorial, and this is the one that we just made. So it just, no two are ever alike. All right, so now we're going to take the same idea, but we are going to do a feminine card. So we are definitely going to use those flowers, but I need to wipe off these stamps because I am going to use them. Let me see if I have any colors. Oh, thanks, Kathy. I appreciate that. Let me see if I have any colors. Let me see if I have any questions. That's what I was looking for. I'm going to put that back there. Oh, a star, a sun. I like that, Sue. That sounds better than an amoeba. But the word is really fun to say, I have to tell you. Okay. Cool, a no glue box. Exactly. But it's already all cut and scored for you, so that makes it even more cool. All right. And you can stamp on those treat boxes that I put together. The material is a matte finish, so you can definitely stamp on them. The color of them is a little less bright than white, but it's definitely not vanilla. It's not, or at least not Stampin' Up's very vanilla. All right. Boop, boop. Let's see here. Sorry, I'm keeping you a little longer than usual, but like I said, getting back into the groove of things. All right. So the first thing that we're going to do on this one is we're going to stamp all over the place, but this is going to be a card for a female friend, so, or at least with a feminine touch to it. So we're going to bring in Magenta Madness, Bumblebee, and Just Jade. All right, so that is what we're going to do. Oh, and I am going to use Misty Moonlight as well for some of my accents. But we're going to start the same way we did with the last card. We're doing the same technique. We are going to have ribbon this time. But I'm going to open up the Bumblebee and I'm going to grab the biggest flower that I picked for this project, and that's going to go first. So I'm going to ink it up and I'm going to stamp it down. And this is Bumblebee. Sorry if that's shaking the table at all. I don't think it will, but just in case. Yeah, I'm going to go one here and just a little bit right there. Okay, so that's that one. Then we're going to use second generation stamping to make our two-step stamp from these two guys because they go together. So I like to do the first generation first, the one that's going to stay first generation first. So I'm going to do the outline and I'm going to fill this in a bit. Maybe one more down here. And then I'm going to do second generation with this one. And I'm looking for this, this petal on the side goes with one as I can see it. So that's the way I'm lining this up. So it's going to go just like that. So second generation is just taking the stamp, inking it up, stamping it on scratch paper, and then bringing it to my project. And I know I'm missing a little bit, but I'm trying to keep my head out of the camera. And I do like this stamp set because it's kind of forgiving. You don't have to be perfect, which I do like. All right, so now these stamps need centers. So I'm going to do my amoeba in magenta, and that's going to be the center for these guys. And then I'm going to do the little center in Misty Moonlight just to add a little more color to the really small flowers. And see, again, I don't have to be perfect. That's another thing I could tell just by the artwork that this was designed to be a forgiving stamp set, and I love that. All right, and then what we're going to do is we're going to take our cluster of dots, which is also meant to go in the center of a flower. You could definitely use it as a center, but we're going to bring in just jade. I'm not going to do leaves on this. I'm just going to do flowers and then background images. And we're just going to do a little fill in. We're just going to fill in a little bit. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in. I thought of this after I did the card this morning. So you'll see that this is going to look a little bit different. But when I finished it, I was like, I wish I would have done that. So I'm going to do first generation, and then I'm going to come back in and fill in some white space with second generation. And now I'm starting to white space fill, so I don't really care if I go over a little bit. So now I'm really getting that, gift wrap wallpaper look going. All right, and then to finish it off, we're going to use that same big dotted filler. I'm going to use Bumblebee because it'll kind of fade a little bit since that's my biggest image, but I am going to do second generation for the whole thing. So we're going to do like 7 again. Oops. Okay. Talking and second generation aren't always 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait. 6, 7. All right. Well, it's not perfect, but that's okay. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I started this way. Yeah, that way, this way. Okay. So now I'm just looking to have no white space. You could also go for no white space by taking a brayer, a sponge dauber, a Stampin' Sponge, and just filling it all in. But I like using my stamps because that's why I have them. All right, so now we're just gonna make sure there's no major patches of white, and I really don't even see many. Maybe there. Okay, so I'm gonna stop there. That looks cool, in my opinion. I'm happy to look over to the comments and see. All right. How we doing? Anybody watching for hi from Clintondale, New York. Hi, Dawn. Nice to you to join us. All right. So let's get, I shouldn't have packed everything up. I still need magenta, and I think I'm going to do Bumblebee for this reading. Okay. So we're going to end up cutting this down like we did last time. And I didn't make that rectangle, so we're going to do that real quick. I have it all right here. So the great thing about the new Stampin' Up! Die cutting machines is that one of them is super small, and it's this one. This is the mini. And it's $60, and it comes with all the cutting plates and embossing folder plates that you need to do all of your die cutting and folder embossing. You just have to use the narrow folders from Stampin' Up! All right, so we're going to go this way. So it uses a plate 1 and 2 plate 2s. And then this is definitely going to shake, sorry. Come on, there we go. Did I? Oh, I didn't get any. I thought I had ink on my finger from the other side. All right, and then it just folds back up. handy as could be. And there we go. All right. So, and yes, I could have stamped first and then lined it up, but I decided that wasn't how I wanted to do it tonight. All right, so now we're going to stamp this real quick. Happy birthday. I am going to make sure that the blue is off of here, because no matter which way you're going, see, it's not totally off. So I want to make sure that it is. Okay, now we're good. So I can get up in this, stamp it down. I'm going to go right in the middle and then put the birthday over the Y in happy. There we go. And then birthday. I do not want to ruin my beautiful bumblebee, so let's make sure. Nope, birthday is still shadowing a little bit. There we go. Okay. Looks good. Okay, so then we're just going to go over here. Okay, there's birthday. If I was doing this with a little more time, I think I would have moved the happy over a little bit more, but we're just going to go with it for now. Going to, oh, there I did ink. Okay, I'm going to close this one. And this one. If you are still watching live, leave a comment, or even if you're watching the replay, leave a comment and let me know if you like doing cards or 3D. If you had to choose one style of project, cards or 3D, let me know in the comments. If you like these Wednesday workshops to do, which part of it do you enjoy more? And yes, you got to pick one. You can't say I like both, even if you do, because that's just going to help me going forward. Okay, I'm just going to cut. I think it's all well balanced, so just like the other one, I'm just going to cut it down to 5 1/4 by 4. And oops, missed the trash. And then we're going to put this together. I have another 11 by 4 1/4 card base right here. And we are going to use our liquid glue to put this down, and then we'll use dimensionals to pop that up. And put that over. There we go. Okay. And then our dimensionals. Oh, I got some green on that finger. One. Oh, and by the way, the in the stitched rectangle dies, if you guys have these, there are 2 nested sets. One is a larger set and one is a smaller set. This is the largest rectangle in the smaller nested set. Hope that makes sense. It indicates that in the download that you can get off of tomorrow's blog post. Expect that to be up by 10 a.m. Eastern time. All right, maybe earlier, but definitely by 10 a.m. There we go. And last but not least, one more thing, we need a bow. If you'd like the 10-second bow maker, you can find on my website, you can find a link to purchase it. It just says bow maker on my website, and it'll take you right there. You get instructional videos with your purchase, so you don't have to follow my flying fingers right now. There we go. We have a cute little bow. And then I always like to use a glue dot with my bows. So I just take the bow, push it onto the glue dot, pull it off. There we go. And we're just gonna kind of hide it behind there because it's a little bit bigger than the center of this bow. And there we are. All right. Voila. Okay, so this is the card I made this morning, and this is the one that we just made together. For the masculine card, this is the one, just move those aside a little. This is the one I made this morning, and this is the one that we just made together. And then last but not least, here is the box that we made together and the box that I made this morning. So there we go. There you have it. Those are all the projects for this evening. Thank you all for joining me tonight. I'm glad I'm back. I'm glad I got to hang out with you guys, and I will see you again at 7 o'clock next Wednesday evening. Have a great week, and please reach out if you need anything. Take care. Bye-bye.